So in my last video, I said I was going to do either a video on aeration, biological filtration, or water changes. But this happened, and so I had to do a video on this. And I'm pretty freaking sick. What is up, all you stone cold superfly fish keeping funkadelics? You watching Aquatics with me, Aqua Funk, and as you can tell by looking at me and hearing me, I ain't feeling too fly or too funky. That's because I'm having a serious allergy attack. Eyes, head, nose, throat, sneezing. Ugh. But this is why I'm doing the video in my state that I am in now. I get the same comment for quite a while now, and it's alright. The comment is legitimate. It does have, bearing. Aqua, you're supposed to be this angel dude, this guru, whatever. How come you don't have a video, a comprehensive video, front to back, on how to breed angels? And the truth is, I don't, for one. And the reason why I don't is because I'm 43 years old, right? Now, millennials have this knack of seeing something incredible and whipping out a phone. A lot of people my age don't do that right away because we just didn't grow up with phones like they did. But I'm trying to do that now. And as a YouTuber, it's actually a benefit if I was able to do something like that. But I made a promise to myself that the next time I get a pair of angels showing signs of breeding, I was gonna go ahead and do this video. So, we're gonna talk about, first of all, how to get a pair of breeding angels. Well, there's two main ways to go about it. One is you can buy an already mating pair. A lot of places online will sell you a mating pair. Now, if they do sell you a mating pair, it's not 100% guarantee that when they go through all the rigmarole being shipped to your house, that they will mate right away. In fact, they will probably have to take some time to get acclimated, maybe 3 months. I don't know. Because I don't use that method, because that can be kind of expensive. I've seen mating pairs of angels go for $400. Not to mention, I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist and a very untrusting person by nature. So when I hear $400 for a mating pair, I scam me. They're trying to get me on my dough. I've never heard of that happening, but that's how I think. So I'd rather do it myself. And what I do is, I get me 6 angelfish. You can get 8. Your chances of getting a mated pair is better with the more fish you have. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you what size tank to put in. I'm gonna let you figure that out on your own. Because size, tanks, and amount of fish is a very touchy subject, and everybody has their own views on it. So you get a tank you feel is appropriate. Now, I have done videos in the past on what to look for when buying angelfish. I'm gonna go ahead and put the description of the link to that video in the descriptions below. So, you got yourself 6 angelfish. Now, I know these are bare. There's nothing in them, but you kind of want to escape your tank. And the reason why I say that is because you want these guys to be comfortable, and a lot of plant matter makes them comfortable, especially plants that are slim and tall. They like to hide in beneath the plants, and it gives them a sense of calmness. Also, let's talk about lighting. In nature, actually, angels kind of like a little bit of shade. So if you had some floating plants, that would be great too. But the floating plant thing is not necessary. because I've had angels breed without that. But it's just something to think about. Food. You want to feed them 3/4 protein and 1/4 flake with a very, it has different minerals and plant matter and all that stuff in there just to round out their diet. But you want to feed them protein as a primary diet because you want them to bulk up, okay? Especially for the female, the whole breeding process, she needs that energy to make those eggs. So you got your fish in your aquarium, you scaped it. Oh, one thing about scaping, it's good to have some tall plants creating a visual barrier in the middle of your tank. And I'm gonna tell you why. When angelfish are in the spawning mode, in the mating behavior mode, they're very aggressive. So having that visual barrier will help keep some of your other fish from getting injured by the two that are mating. So you're feeding them, you got your tank scaped, you got the water at 82 degrees, 82 degrees. Water changes are very important at this particular point in time. You want to do 1/3, 1/4, whatever's best for you, but you want to do often water changes because that mimics the rainy season. The water has to be room temperature too, a cool water change. Basically, the temperature has to be colder or cooler than the tank water. So I like using room temperature to go in an 82 degree tank. What that does is it mimics the rainy season that goes on in the Amazon, that triggers their brains to go, hey, it's time to do the do. So you're gonna be doing this. I would suggest do these water changes twice a week. Feed them heavy. Now once they get about, their body size gets about this big around, they probably can produce eggs. They're not going to produce as much as you might see on other things because they're smaller, but they will produce for you. So once, you want to provide a slate or a spawning cone. I like using slate because I hatch my fish artificially, my fry artificially, and it's just difficult to do with a spawning cone. With a slate, it makes it very manageable. The texture of the slate doesn't really matter as long as it's about 10 to 12 inches tall and 2 to 3 inches wide. You will eventually see, look at this guy right here. You will eventually see these two will look like they're fighting, but they're not really hurting each other. Or you will see them pushing all the other fish that are in your tank to one side. And you will see them picking at the slate. Like a lot of times you see where the heaters are turned diagonally, like at an angle and whatnot. That's because these fish like to breed on smooth, vertical surfaces. So you provide the slate. You might look, see, you don't want them breeding on your heater because when the heater kicks on, you're gonna fry your eggs and have an omelet. That's not the goal. So you've noticed your community angelfish tank that this is happening. You want to get yourself at least a 29 gallon, 20 tall, not shallow. And you want to isolate those two that are spawning, and you put them into the 20 gallon. Now, at this point, I personally like to use a bare bottom tank because you want to have the water as clean as possible. Now, if they haven't produced eggs for you yet, don't worry about that. You know that these two are a mating pair because they've been doing their little thing.
If they actually spawned in your community tank, that's even better. But if you're pretty sure that they're doing all the things that I just mentioned, cleaning off slate, being aggressive, pushing all the fish to the other side of the tank, swimming alongside each other, sometimes doing a little sparring against each other, you put them in a 20 bare bottom tank, and you want to do that cold water change every other day, every other 2 days. This will get them, randy, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll start responding.
Alright, let's talk about male and female. How do you know which is which? First of all, let me start off by saying, excuse the dirty tank, I will be doing a cool water change tomorrow. But as far as male and female go, there's no 100% way of telling, except for if their spawning tubes are out, which if you look right there, that is their spawning tubes. Now the best way I could explain this is that the male, think about a pencil. The male spawning tube is small and pointy, whereas the female spawning tube is larger and blunt, like the point of a pencil and the blunt part of the eraser for the female. Let's see what's going on here. You're gonna notice that the male is going to be cleaning the slate, even though there's nothing on the slate. It's something that they do. And the female is kind of being restless. You can probably tell that she's a little bit more chunkier in the belly, like right there. It kind of bulges out from side to side. Yeah, she's a little bit restless. She can't really sit still. The male, who is bigger, and there's no hump on his head, so you know the whole hump on the head is definitely a male thing. It's not really, you know, factual. Now the male is also going to be really aggressive to me. Even if I move, you'll see I'll move closer to the female, and he notices that. He comes over and gets in between me and the female.
Back up off my lady, Aqua, punk.
Alright, so it's the next day, and I'm actually feeling a lot sicker. I had to call in. I just couldn't do it. I'm sweating. My head feels like it's in a vice. My nose feels like it is in a vice. My chest is raw from coughing and sneezing. And, well, as you can see, overnight these guys decided to spawn for me, but they decided to spawn on the glass. Now, I thought I'd show you this because this isn't the comprehensive beginning and end that I promised, but this is very important in that it's part of the deal, man. These guys don't breed exactly where you want to and when you want to. So what I have to do is, I think I'm gonna put different pieces of slate in there. One that has more of a glassy surface, because apparently that's what they want. That white piece of slate has a rough texture to it, so maybe they don't want that. So I'll put some other textures in there so they can pick and choose. They're trying their hardest to do something. This is only the second time they've spawned, and as you can see, it's kind of all over the place. It should be a nice, pretty lines up and down, so it can be fertilized evenly. What they're doing is they're doing all kinds of things. They're actually dropping the eggs off of the glass onto the tank bottom, and she's frantically trying to figure out, you know, how to spin them back on the glass. They are trying, like I said, they're fanning them, trying to keep water flow across them so that they don't create fungus. But like I said, this is all part of the deal. Don't be discouraged. Actually, if you're at this point right now and you got them to at least spawn, they will spawn again for you. They are a mating pair. They will spawn again for you. You just have to, it's trial and error sometimes with some pairs. But I'll get different slates in there, continue what I'm doing, and maybe next time they spawn on a piece of slate, I'll have more to show you. But until then, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and take care of your fish.